How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Crafting Cars. Before we begin today, I just want to let you know I really appreciate you guys tuning in for the Hurricane NSX build. This is now part 3, and I tell you what, working on this NSX is like top 3 coolest things that have happened in my entire life. So I'm very fortunate to have this opportunity and be able to share it with all of you guys. A lot of you guys who have been watching for like 5 years, me just messing around with cars. So this is really cool. I know I'll always look back on this with fond memories like, yo, you built an NSX. So yeah, let's get right into it. So here's the seats from the last episode. I got them all the way stripped down. I wanted to test the reclining motors. Unfortunately, they don't work either. Check it out. Even the wiring for the seat motors is shot. I stripped it back like another inch just to see, and yeah, it's like a greenish black color. I have never seen corrosion like this. Either way, I was able to get the headrest out of there. I had to put a little bit of heat on these posts right here, but I was able to slide them out. I got them in this box over here. All the other interior plastics and leather pieces and everything that we cleaned up, I got them in this box. I'm gonna make sure not to close this box, but they've been drying out and they're looking pretty good. So I think I'll be able to salvage all of those. Now, because of all the hidden electronic damage I've seen so far, I've decided the only way to proceed with this build with a clear head is to remove all the electronics from the car. I'm talking clean slate. So we're gonna be working on that today. Another point that the customer brought up is we should be tracking the weight reduction. So each one of these seats was 39 pounds. So that's about 80 pounds removed from the car. I'm sure the new seats we're gonna be putting in are gonna be significantly lighter, but 39 pounds for each of these seats actually isn't too bad. Thinking about how they have 2 power motors and they were full leather. For example, the Legend seat, just the driver's seat, is 80 pounds all by itself. So that's pretty impressive. You can see Acura saves weight by using aluminum materials, and they keep the strength by doing tricks like dimple dies. So let's find out how much more weight we can get out of this thing. Wiring in the steering wheel looks great. I don't think the salt water got in there. Another awesome thing to resell. Same thing with the airbag. Good stuff. So here's the factory clock spring assembly. The plug that was on the wheel side looks pretty good. The plug that was under the column looks a little rough. I really want to save this thing though, because this is going to be super helpful in the future. We want to put an aftermarket steering wheel on this car, and I'd like to have like the indicator buttons and the horn mounted on the steering wheel itself, like a real race car. I want to get rid of these factory stocks here, just because with the salt water, who knows how reliable these will be. Even from the factory, these aren't super reliable now that the car is 30 years old. Do a quick continuity check. Come on, talk to me nice. There we go. Got down to about 0.5 ohms. I'll take that. Definitely gonna be putting some deoxit on those pins. You know how those big connectors can kind of get stuck and be a pain to remove? Once they've been soaked in salt water, it's like 10 times more difficult. There we go. Look at all that corrosion. No good. Oh, please be nice. Please be nice. Oh, it's looking good. Oh, thank goodness. I think we're gonna be able to resell this thing. That's awesome, because an NSX gauge cluster like this go for a premium 1 week before race wars. Now before this, I've never actually removed the dashboard from a car. I figured the first time I do it would probably be on my Civic. I didn't think it was going to be on an NSX. It always looked pretty intimidating to me, and I was always worried that it would never go back together the same, or that a bunch of clips would break and yeah, it would rattle all the time. But I'm here to tell you, it actually is not that bad. Now we're doing pretty good, but we still got a ways to go. Next on my list is getting everything off this back firewall. And I suppose while I'm in here, I might as well remove everything I can from the front as well. Well, I didn't know that the NSX had a small factory sub underneath the dash, and this one is full of water. Oh my goodness. And there is a mini amplifier in here swimming around in this salty kelp shake. Okay, if this video gets to 200 trillion likes, I'll drink the soup. Get rid of this blower motor here. Let's check if the motor still spins. Nope. Get this HVAC unit out of here. Now I'm gonna be replacing this with a vintage air system. The new systems are much lighter, much smaller, and a lot more efficient. Surprisingly enough, the system didn't have any Freon in it. And I'm not just saying that because I dumped it all into the atmosphere. I don't do that anymore. I don't know if this is because of salt water or just the old age, but look at this foam. It just deteriorates. This lock cylinder is pretty crusty feeling, and when I had power hooked up, the sensors were super touchy, so we're gonna be deleting this. And we'll be going push to start. Well, I'd say we did a pretty good job getting this all stripped out. Not much left in here. Now, I was very surprised with how much we got out of the car that doesn't have to go back in. This is a significant amount of weight. I'm saying all this, at least 120 pounds. Looking at all that stuff. Don't do that. See everything on the floor over there?
Mm-hmm.
How much you guess that all weighs?
It's gotta be at least 5 pounds.
So this is airbag, automatic transmission shifter. Okay. 24 pounds. More audio stuff in the second box. 14 pounds. Computers and modules. 25 pounds. It's HVAC. 21 pounds. Sound deadening material. 8 pounds. All right, I'd say this is probably the heaviest box.
38.
38 pounds. 130 pounds we saved. That's crazy. And then add that to the seats that were 80 pounds. That's 210 pounds out of the car. Now, of course, there's going to be new wiring going back into the car. There'll be new HVAC going back into the car. And there'll be new seats going back into the car. However, they're going to be a lot lighter. Of course, I'll track those as well. And then after we do some engine work and suspension work, I'm very excited to see what this ends up weighing, especially compared to a factory 92 automatic NSX. So I've been doing a lot of calling and emailing today. I reached out to Super Clean, one of our first channel sponsors, and they're gonna hook us up with some more cleaning products. We gotta clean out the interior of this car. I talked to JWP Automotive, another one of our channel sponsors, and they said they'd still like to help out any way they can with the build, especially towards the end of the build when we get it all wrapped up. They are interested in helping tuning the car, so I'm very excited with that. We also have a buddy over there, Kyle. He works on Haltechs a lot, so he'll be helping us out with all the Haltech equipment. I talked to the owner, and he said that he would like to keep the factory sound deadening on the floor here. We'll just clean it up, make it look nice. And he is down to wire the car using the Haltech PD16 PDM unit. And to control the engine, we're going to be using the Haltech Nexus R3. He was telling me a little bit about the Haltech Nexus software. He says it's super easy to use, especially for someone who comes from like the Honda platform. That's what I'm used to tuning on. And I'm really excited about that. We've confirmed that although we're using the Haltech ECU and PDM for things like the gauge cluster, we're going to be using an AIM dash. I see why he wants to do that because the AIM dashes have kind of a more raw motorsport kind of feel. And same thing with the keypad. So how we're going to be controlling all the outputs from our Haltech PD16. We're going to be using a Blink Marine keypad, which also kind of leans more towards the aggressive kind of Honda style motorsports aesthetic. They're going to look really good in the car. And we're also going to be using some Alcantara materials. So things like the door pads here, the pads that were behind the seats, I'm going to be wrapping those in Alcantara. I'm going to be doing it DIY style. You know how we do it around here. That'll give me some good experience and save the customer a lot of money. I also reached out to buydeutsch.com, seeing if they can hook us up with some connectors for this car, since we will be rewiring the whole thing, and I want the car to be nice and simple and easy to service. And then for the lighting on this car, I'm going to be powering it using the Haltech PD16 power distribution module, and a lot of the outputs are limited to 8 amps. And you guys know halogen lamps and like old incandescent bulbs, they pull a lot of amps because a lot of times they're like 50, 60 watts. If you want to find out your amps, you just take the watts divided by 12. So say you have a 60 watt bulb and it's on a 12 volt circuit, divide 60 by 12, boom, that is a 5 amp bulb. So with all the outputs on the PD16 being limited to 8 amps, we got to make sure that the wattage and the power usage of all these bulbs is lower. And the best way to do that is going LED. So I reached out to Diode Dynamics, and I'm going to see if we can hook up a partnership with them to get this car fully revamped with LED lighting. So I hope you guys are as stoked on the weight reduction we accomplished today as I am. I know the customer's pretty happy about it. Who knew there was going to be so many heavy computer modules inside this car? And what an awesome opportunity to take this timeless chassis and retrofit it with modern day tech. So if you like today's video, don't forget to like the video out. It helps the channel a ton. I'd like to get as many eyes as I can on this project. Share it with the world, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, make sure you're subscribed or have your notifications on as we upload every Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we're going to be starting on the chassis restoration, pulling all the suspension components out of this thing and anything else we have time for, getting it cleaned up, looking factory fresh again. Thanks again for tuning in to Crafting Cars. I will see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.